Yeah, guys, a lot's happened since 2, 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago since you last joined us. We've had the droids
Yeah.
integrating. So, what's happening with the droids, by the way, lads? Because obviously, there's a lot of droids with jobs that they're doing and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I believe how much traits do we have in the prop section, Donnie? Do you remember?
I want to say it was near 30, right? Or was it
Oh
41?
man,
Yeah, around that. That's a
well,
lot, right?
there's a lot. So, what happened to the electrician one? And what do the ones what do the ones with no trades do? If you can reveal that, because there's lots of
I
people
can't
been
reveal that
asking.
just yet, but it might have something to do with the future planned utility of the droids. So, whatever you can kind of imagine when it comes to different jobs and what they get in return. Each droid has a specific prop in its hand. Some of them have nothing. They do specific tasks, and I guess that's about how far I can go with it. I don't want to spoil too much, but
No, no, don't spoil, don't spoil. Keep them hanging on.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah.
them hanging on.
And like we
but we got some
mentioned,
really cool stuff planned. Yeah.
okay, like we said before, like the droids being kind of the mint rewards from the junkies, kind of just an additional utility that will be added to, in-game interactions and whatnot. It really
Yeah.
depends where we want to take them. We have some small things planned for them, but depending on, the kind of the process and our roadmap as we move on, like we may, add additional utility to them or whatnot. But at the end of the day, we have a few little surprises we're working on, but
So
all
it's
will come in
not
time.
gonna sorry, so it's not necessarily gonna be tied to us.
No, no, and that's the whole idea of like, we could have made them like non-tradable and they'd be tied to kind of your junkie. But if you sell a junkie or buy a new junkie, you can't get the droid. But at the end of the day, they are kind of individual. You'll be able to have multiple droids and kind of pick and choose which one you want to interact with at any given time.
Yeah. So regarding if I can have any droid with any junkie then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Just how
Yeah.
you'll be able to choose
Oh,
what junkie
cool.
you play as in the Junkiverse.
The
You'll
other
have the
way
same
round.
option. Yep,
Oh,
exactly.
Yeah, like
So
excellent.
somebody who doesn't own a junkie and wants to play, they can log in since the game's free to play. And if they own a droid, they can still take out that droid and let it follow them around as they adventure through. But yeah, so the droids are kind of like a separate entity, not tied to the junkies at all. They're
Cool.
just a little friendly companion.
Cool. So that's changed from the original idea where it was gonna be tied to the junkie.
well,
No, no,
no, in terms of like that was more for claiming. They are tied to the junkie in
Right.
terms of being able to redeem them. But no, yeah, they're not like physically or
Tied.
technically tied. Yeah, and I mean, I guess it's also important to remember that this is just the first collection of critters and crawlers. We have some plans for additional critters and crawlers because at the end of the day, they're in-game companions that'll provide different utility. Some may strictly be a little like pet animal, robot, whatever that kind of just strictly follows you around as more of an aesthetic. Um, but yeah, we have a lot of plans with exactly what we'll do with the critters and crawlers overall. I'm kind of excited for it. I think they're really cool. It's kind of just
Oh,
an additional
love
thing you can
them.
kind of have around, show off. Everyone plays games differently or interacts differently. So
Yeah, I mean, I loved every aspect of claiming my droid. I just loved it all. Every part of it. It was like, oh, this is exciting. What's coming?
Critters and crawlers, what am I imagining? Can I have like a spy roach that I can send off to check up on Garbo, what he's doing? I don't know.
Hey, well, no, you don't want to check up on me. Come on.
hey, you never know what could come about. But yeah, I mean the critters and crawlers. I think they're one of my favorite kind of like collections. Jake and I have brainstormed and done some prototyping with some different you know themes and categories and whatnot. And I think they'll be a really cool like addition in the game. No matter how they're implemented.
Any ideas on the timeline of beta testing or the game or anything like that?
Yeah, I'll let Jake
Yeah, so
speak on that.
timelines are a tricky thing. There's always unexpected things that pop up,
Of
and
course.
yeah, right now we've been pushing really hard on the multiplayer settings of the game, and we have a test environment that the devs have been working on and playing together, and it's going really well. Today, me and Kyle hopped on, and we're in this little test environment of a map I'm creating, and we're shooting each other, and we had a lot of laughs, and it was a great time. We're getting close to a stage where we can do a private testing with some of the OG junkies that want to try out. Following that, the feedback's good. If everything works well, we'll push to a little bit more of a open alpha testing.
Excellent.
But yeah, it's getting really close. I think the first rendition of it we really need to focus on is our gun mechanics in the multiplayer environment. Setting up Rusty is extremely easy. We've had that done for a while now, but it's getting the player interactions and making sure that's seamless and works great is important right now. So
that's everything outside of Rusty's. Rusty's itself, you've got it nailed. It's
yeah, exactly. You can walk around, do some cool emotes, sit down in chairs, have fun, hang out, go up to the bar and grab yourself a drink. Yeah, we got Rusty's going. It's just whenever we do a testing environment, we want to have a little bit more of the gameplay mechanics fleshed out and ready, other than just hanging out in Rusty's.
yeah.
So
Obviously, yeah, you've got to have more than hanging out in Rusty's.
yeah, exactly. I mean, like this past year and a half that we've been doing this, it's been a lot of world building, a lot of asset design, and getting our story and lore set up, and getting the characters correct and all the cool fleshed out stuff. And now it's like really hitting the nail on the and getting the multiplayer ready and a lot of the technical side of things. So
You're getting down to the nitty gritty side of it.
exactly. It's getting it all ready. It's putting all the puzzle pieces together.
Yeah.
And we set ourselves up in a really great spot to get it done quick and easy. So it's been going really good, and we've had a lot of time to work on it. So
Yeah.
What's the kind? Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like, an analogy for it is, we spent, the first bit of time, you can compare it to like a puzzle. When you do a puzzle, you do all the outside borders first, and it helps you build the inside. So pretty much what we're doing now is filling in those little pieces that you can't really tell where they go, but you gotta find the right home for them. And so I think we've built a pretty good kind of foundation, and that was always our goal, to kind of build a solid foundation that'd be easy to build and scale off of. Because now, once we get this multiplayer stuff kind of rigged up, it's going to be like cake to put out new little levels, new areas, new expansions, and stuff like that. So that's why we've taken our time with it.
What's the kind of sequence of events now that we have, without giving dates and nothing like that? So we had a website built, right? We had a white paper. We then released the NFTs, right, for the junkies, which changed from 2D to 3D voxel art, right? And then now we released the droids. You guys released the droids, drowsy droids. What is the next few sequence of events, without giving specific dates or timelines? What's the next few things that are coming down the pipeline?
Yeah.
Right now we've been working on putting together our loot box system. We started that back in early September, I believe, or maybe it was late August. But just getting all the assets done for the loot box and getting your junkie some clothing,
Let them run around naked, buddy.
Exactly. So we're putting that all together, and we're gonna have a 3D viewer where you can actually put the clothes on and see how your junkie looks in a 3D environment, or how it would look in game before we all start logging in and hanging out together. So that's the closest next step that we have for what's next with the junkies. Throughout that whole time, I'm going to be working on the game and Kyle's going to be working on networking everything. So we're probably going to have some small little play tests with some of the OGs and get that going. But yeah, I mean,
how about land and the little apartments and all that? How's that? When does that figure in? At what point?
Yeah,
after the game is actually launched.
So yeah, we've been exploring like a few different ways of doing things. Like Jake said, we're kind of working on loot boxes. We want to kind of get the minting rewards kind of settled. Obviously, the market's all over the place nowadays, and it also comes, with timing when we want to release some of this stuff. And land has kind of been one we've, questioned whether we want to do it before the launch, after, what kind of utility to provide, if there's any kind of incentives to have it before versus after. So yeah, that one's definitely the most up in the air, but it's also one of the most like kind of put together. But I think land is going to be pretty shocking with how we have some things set up, and like I said about the critters and crawlers, right behind those, I think land is pretty exciting for me. So yeah, it just really depends.
I mean, really, you've got to get this rewards out the way for people minting the junkies and then progress from there, from what I can tell, because people obviously wanting what they get regarding drowsy droids, their JSC, what everything come with a junkie, then build from there again.
Exactly, and kind of like we talk with loot boxes, like Jake said, we started building the actual like infrastructure back in early September, late August. And so that's, in a pretty good state. And Jake's made quite a good bit of progress with, the actual contents of the loot boxes. We don't want to share too much on those because it's, at the end of the day, it is like opening a loot box. You don't know exactly what you're going to get. So we got to keep some kind of like surprise in there. But so those will be cool.
That's the fun part, right?
Yeah.
No, it's all the fun's the surprise, like the drowsy droid, integrating them with your junkie. It's all that surprise what you're going to get. I think it's more exciting than the mint because it's what am I going to get now?
Like a box of chocolates.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's the exciting part about everything is what's coming next. What am I getting?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait to play a little bit with you guys, multiplayer, test that.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely get y'all on for the first test that we do.
Oh God, Jake, jeez, that will be fun. You can come down the stairs. Come on.
Gab, you're not gonna escape that. You're not gonna escape that.
No, I won't escape it. If I get chosen, of course, I'll do the best I can.
Yeah, but it's in like such a good state. Like we set up the servers today, and we had our fingers crossed. Like there's going to be no errors. And me and Kyle hopped in, and we started shooting each other right away, and everything was super, super nice and fluid. And we were like, "Wow, how did this happen?"
You want to talk a little bit about the technical side of the setup with the servers, and how is the scalability? How many people will it support? Or how does it work? Like, how many people are going to play against each other? You want to talk a little bit about those things?
I mean, I'm not the person to talk to about that because I don't know the server side of things. I'm the level designer and just the main artist, and I do some generic events and calls within Unity. But for right now, we have just a small server set up that can probably host around 16 people at max, running around. But, as soon as we get to the larger stages and once we get to the closer to an MVP product, of course, we're going to raise that and level it up to however many people are interested in playing. But for these testing environments, it's going to be a small group,
Yeah, small select group.
Yeah, and we'll probably do, like we said too, like waves of them. We at the end of the day, we want people to come in and try to break things, try to find bugs, so we can fix them for when we actually do kind of like a closed beta release, or even get into like open beta / alpha kind of stuff. But it also comes to it depends, because it depends what environment we're testing or playing in. Like we don't want to have, once we get to the capability of servers hosting 1,000 people, like that doesn't mean 1,000 people will be within Rusty's. We kind of built Rusty's on kind of like a 30 to 50 model, where each instance of Rusty's will have about a max amount of people. And once it kind of exceeds that threshold, a new instance of Rusty's will kind of open up, kind of like a lobby system in different games. So yeah, everything will be a little bit different. Some of our actual like PvP, some maybe 5 to 10 players, some maybe up to 25. It'll just depend on like the game modes and the actual experience.
Do you want to tell for people who are maybe not that familiar what we're looking at right now in the background?
Yeah, this is us chilling in Rusty's. Over here on the left is Scarbo with his exclusive one-of-one Gator Slayer, Lizard King, the Scarbon Hunter. You got Duncan in the middle.
Scarbon, but still waiting to see him.
Yeah. Well, he's the elusive monster. It's going to be tough for anybody to see him. And right next to Scarbo, we have Duncan chilling, sitting with his junkie as well.
Awesome.
On the very far right is Donnie holding a little whiskey bottle. This is a custom junkie that we did for Donnie. It's his face. If you know what Donnie looks like in real life, you'll see the resemblance.
Buddy, I love that PFP of Donnie.
And then the green guy sitting in the back is myself.
With the big comfy chair.
Just to recap,
big comfy chair.
The bar is the main social hangout within the Junkiverse, right?
Yeah, it's the main social hangout where we're all going to be
point for activities as well.
Yep, exactly. You can walk out the front doors, go to the city center, do some activities in there. You can just hang out in Rusty's, play some card games, and drink some mutant milk. Rusty's is going to be the heart and soul of the Undercity for the most part.
Yeah, and then I guess that kind of ties in, just like you said. So Rusty's will be like the main joint, and then like we've disclosed a little bit about kind of our land and districts and whatnot, and how we want to set all those things up. But every little area is going to have other activities. Every single thing won't start within Rusty's, but every like direction you go in will come from Rusty's. So there's experiences will be like throughout the map, and it'll be cool. I can't wait to get some kind of like visuals set up when we're actually going through the testing and be able to share a lot of that stuff. And that's why we're really excited to get this multiplayer stuff set up, so we can actually interact and go through these flows together, and then be able to show everyone what we've been working so hard on, at least some of the extra stuff.
Yep, it's just a lot of conversion work right now. That's all. Like, we have everything built. We have all the levels designed. We have everything looking cool and good, and it's just making sure it works in multiplayer. That's it. So it's like we're at the running a marathon, and we're on the final foot. Getting it out there to people to have some fun in.
Yeah, I mean, you're really coming to
try.
Yeah. Man.
Oh, definitely. You're coming towards the point of releasing the Junkiverse, and it's going to be huge for everyone who's been waiting. And obviously, we all love you guys.
Yeah, well, we love y'all, and we love the community that we are so lucky to have. I mean, it's amazing, everybody who has been here, and all the new people that started to come here after Mint, and maybe if they come yesterday, like, we still appreciate every single one of you.
Without a doubt, everyone who joins, you're a junkie, part of the Junkiverse.
Exactly. Junkies stick together, we all love you.
What happens in the Junkiverse stays in the Junkiverse.
Exactly. But yeah, like
it's gonna be amazing.
Oh yeah, and when we get to the point, the first aspect is, we plan just to release the Rusty's bar as the multiplayer thing, as like the quote unquote Junkiverse release, where we're all hanging out in there and doing the small activities, and we're gonna have like a little PvP section where you can go out and go to the PvP maps and shoot each other with stuff. From there we're gonna continue to build out and flesh out the game with all the stuff that we've been doing, and getting that working for everybody. The PvE modes, the dungeons, getting clans set up,
clans,
stuff like that.
I can't wait for the clans. The clans are gonna be cold.
Oh yeah.
You ain't joining my clan.
So people can set up their own clans and then.
Yeah. We've got clans, buddy. We're working on clans.
Oh yeah.
Clans are going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's never too early to start setting them up. Yeah, it's never too early to start setting them up.
Oh man, clans! I can't wait for joining the clan.
Oh yeah,
some kind of initiation.
Yeah, we gotta figure out some stuff like that.
Everyone can have their own private initiation ceremonies, whatever they was the leader's voting.
I think it's going to be weird as well because obviously a lot of us OGs just want to get in Rusties, and then you've got to try and get us out of Rusties, which is obviously we've all been waiting for. But there's so much more to this. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's huge. It's absolutely it takes a lot of time to get right, and I'm very, very confident on the direction we're taking and what we've done with entirely bootstrapping the entire project, coming out of our own pockets. We've funded the entire thing, any money that we've made from the mint sale, we still haven't touched, that's our, keeping that as a backup plan. And also, when you keep the XRP, we believe in it. We don't want to sell it just yet. So
I hope you do, Jack. You're building on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to ask a question about Junction, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So I know you're building this and it's going to be open source. I wanted if you could please just give us a quick explanation for someone who doesn't know what it is, what it does, what it's for.
Yeah. So we're actually coming up to the last month of our Junction stuff. We've been working on it since August, right, Donnie?
Yeah.
Since around August. And pretty much what it is just like a dashboard system for projects to give their communities a little bit extra utility. Like you saw what we did for the Junkies website, which is a really basic rendition of some of the stuff that we put together. We're completely done with all the back end, and now we're working on getting some template websites up. But what it is a NFT viewer. It's a claiming system. You can open up loot boxes. You can send messages from projects. It's like a all-in-one kind of utility tool.
So it's multi-use for different metaverses, basically, as well.
Yeah.
I would say it goes to. It's used for any project. If you have just a basic art project and you want to, give your community a website where they can, look at their artwork, where they can, view private message boards, where they can only see if they log in with their wallet, or, they want to claim an exclusive art drop for owning a specific NFT, they can do that. Maybe if you want to expand it out a little bit and, use some loot box stuff, you can do that too. All the technologies we're going to be open sourcing, of course, but Junction does have a business model on the side of it. So if you're not a developer, if you're not tech savvy, and you want somebody to set it up for you, that's where we come in, and we'll get it all set up. We wrote the code, we know how it works. So,
right.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you, how has the winning of the grant affected you guys and the project?
It's been great. Definitely, it's definitely shows that we're legitimate and that we care and we love building on the XRP ledger. And we're here to make a statement. We're here to provide utility and open source and committing to open source. Making a mark in the XRP ledger is a huge thing for us, and that's something that we want to achieve, and we want to engrave our names here and be remembered forever, so it's been awesome.
Yeah, I think
I'm sure it's a great motivation also, right? Just to get the news for that, probably.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was definitely
go
ahead, Donnie.
They definitely held us on the string for a while. I think they had privately announced that we had received the grant, probably like 2 months before publicly announcing it, and then 3 months before we actually received any funding. But yeah, and like the grant was for Junction, and there was a little bit of overlap with some of the technology, and it's great because we're going to build it, and we've built all of it, and once we get to the stage where we're going to open source everything, We hope other projects can kind of use it just to, expand, because at the end of the day, like, there is competition between projects, but considering how small the ledger is compared to some of the other ecosystems, the more eyes we can get on the ledger as a whole will, benefit most of us, if not all of us, which we think is cool. But next kind of stage here is we're hoping Ripple wants to look more towards some strictly gaming stuff, and we can get additional kind of grants and whatnot for more.
You guys been applying for other grants as well?
Yeah, we've definitely done a little bit of grant applications. I don't want to speak too much on some of our other plans, but we are kind of. Actually, we did talk about it a little bit in Discord. Looking to raise some more funds, expand the team, kind of accelerate our pipelines in these coming months. So we're excited
Increase
for that.
The size of your team, right? Get more devs on board, more developers. Helps.
Be able to bring things to market
and
quicker.
Yeah. Seeing from like an outside perspective, what we've created and what we've built with just self-funding a project, it's honestly, it's insane where the level we got. And, now we're finally wanting to take that step where we get some outside investments in, and, we talk to some big players that can bring the Junkiverse brand to the next level. So we think that we're ready for it, and we've built enough to get to that point. So yeah, that's definitely important, and that's coming up soon. We're about to start hitting it hard on that too.
The new phase where you're gonna, get into a different whole kind of ballpark, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, get some more developers on, some more artists. Maybe a whole marketing team, and that's because you could only imagine. You can only imagine, like, Donnie and I. Like, I'm the main artist. Yeah, he's the business lead. We're also doing marketing. We're also taking care of the Discord. We're also tweeting. It's a lot.
You're gonna get personal assistants that bring you your chai latte at the top of the hour every hour.
So if I've got to put on pad my bra and become a PA, is that what you're saying, Marcus?
No, I'm just imagining how it's going to play out. It's going to be great for you guys.
Me as a PA.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
I want to ask something else. It's a question that came up this week. I don't know where. I don't remember. Someone asked, because you guys are working with Unity, right, as a development engine. Is there a way to connect this up with someone, let's say, has worked on their metaverse using Unreal Engine?
No.
To each other.
Like, if you're talking about like sharing assets and like being able to, what are you talking about? Like, connect them in what way?
Yeah, like sharing assets, for example. Like, you have an avatar. I don't know.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. So like, let's say somebody's building a metaverse in Unreal and they want to use the Junkies. Yeah, 100%. They can import the Junkies into their project as well.
The word metaverse is a whole discussion in itself, right? Because we have the internet, right? And one would imagine that at some point we would be able to enter, in quote, the metaverse, and we would have some kind of a 3D environment that would allow you to move around and go into all those sub metaverses like the Junkies or the X-Punks or I don't know what else, Zerperverse, within a unified interface. And we don't have that right now, right?
Exactly. And, a lot of that, in my opinion, too, can be somewhat Web 2 based because, Unity wasn't built for blockchain. Unreal wasn't built for blockchain. It was built for game development. So, there is, and there most likely will be kind of technologies that do find a way to make them more interconnected. Just the same way like the bridge was created on the Polygon network. They're both on Ethereum, but one's kind of in a different spot. It's not like accessible the same way. But yeah, so like, in terms of now and how things work, any other blockchain game building in Unity, we could have a much more seamless like integration from game to game. It's just about installing the right dependencies and asset libraries. But with Unreal, it's a little bit more of a challenge because it is entirely a different engine. It's not quite capable to convert everything like on the fly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But like, when it comes to sharing assets and sharing, 3D models, FBX models, animations, and the characters all rigged up and stuff, yeah, 100%. We can take in any project that has, a 3D character. We can bring them into the Junkiverse in a matter of seconds.
So just curious, would it be the same identical looking character, or would it be voxelized into the Junkie style?
Yeah. Yeah, if any projects, onboard themselves to be a part of the Junkiverse, we're open arms for it, and we're super down for that discussion. But we do have a artistic style that we want to keep to, and we're going to keep everything voxeled.
Yeah, and
which I think is awesome. Which I think is absolutely great. So you would have a voxelized version, junkie kind of version of whatever character from another metaverse, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
That's brilliant. Yeah, that would be great.
And like to further that a little more, it really also depends on like the project. Like give a project, like Xpunks, if they had, or like so even like their Maladroids game you can use as an example. If there was some kind of bridge between the two, it also depends on their side. Would they want to take our exact character, use that in there? Maybe not. And it's the same thing with a character from another project coming into ours. We could 100% set it up to where it's identical to how it is in their game environment. But like Jake mentioned, it's like we like the aesthetic. It's because we're not essentially a metaverse project. We have aspects of the metaverse within our project, but that's the whole thing we always say is the word metaverse is a bit overused and doesn't really have clear definition or guidelines. So it can really change depending on the perspective you look at it.
Exactly. So there's a lot. I mean, this is all very early, right?
Still
early.
Still we're very.
Oh man!
I mean, there was a phase in the 2000s decade where we had
I weren't born.
Second Life. I don't know if you guys remember that. And that was kind of like an attempt, right? But there wasn't any blockchain around at that time. And also the performance was bad and the graphics weren't all that great. But it did catch up to a good degree at the time, I remember. Is it still working? I don't know if it's still
I think so.
active.
I actually had a class in college that we used Second Life to do our environmental science experiments. They had a whole like setup in there. That's where we would do them all. But other than that, I mean, that was quite a few years ago when I took that class. But I'm sure it's still around in those regards.
I don't know. That Space Invaders and that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Do we have anything else for today? Do you guys
buddy, I've had to start Pokenomics everything and all sorts. Well, thank you for taking over, Marcus. I've just listened in.
Yeah, I think
I was asked elsewhere, but thank you for filling in for me.
No worries, man. So if you guys, Blanche or Safe, have anything else you wanted to talk about?
Are we cutting it short?
Yeah,
I could talk to these guys for hours.
I was gonna say I got a few little updates here, just so we can say. So I guess just this morning we hit over 72% of the droids have been claimed, which is pretty solid. It hasn't.
Thank you, everyone. Awesome.
The total number of what, 3,000?
So we're at 3,000 or 2,999 of the droids out of the 7,000. But the 72% comes from the actual junkies that have been minted. So out of the like 4,300 junkies out, we've done 3,000, which is cool. It's because it shows the kind of engagement, kind of engagement within this week for people to actually be going there and doing that is
I wanted to ask you something real quick to that, because I'm not sure if I'm well informed here. So if you probably not. If you're claiming your drowsy droid with your junkie, does that disable the ability to modify your junkie later?
No.
Or does that have nothing
to do? If you claim your droid? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
No, they literally have nothing to do with each other.
Like mutation, right?
Didn't you listen earlier, bro?
No, they're tied for claim,
separate.
But separate.
It's all separate, bro.
Yeah.
Come on. You weren't
Yeah,
paying
we just
attention.
we just put it there so we make sure that that people can resell their junkies, and people that are just now getting into the project still have an opportunity to claim the rewards that happened. It could be 5 years prior. Like, let's say somebody hasn't claimed a single droid ever, and 5 years later they sell that junkie. Well, that junkie can still go claim.
Man, have they been asleep? They shouldn't be able to claim the
But that's
droid
an
if they've been
interesting
asleep
thing
that long.
because it may increase the value of the NFT, right?
Yeah, I mean, collectively,
Yeah, it could.
the junkies, like we had someone asking about that last night, and that's kind of the idea with a lot of the stuff we've done with IOUs. Definitely made things a bit more complicated. If we would have never had IOUs, just minted out, when XLS 20 came out, we could have said, okay, you have 3 months to claim your droids. But the issue now is the fact that we had IOUs for so long, at least 3 times as long as we've even had NFTs out now. And so we can't necessarily like just cut off minting, IOU minting, droid minting, because so it kind of like overflows into the droids. It's like, well, the people still haven't claimed their junkies, and we had promised them that they'd get a droid, and so like we're gonna keep the claim open for a while. We hope honestly it'll probably be by this year's end, by the time we get most of the junkies fully out there, is the goal, and then we'll kind of like reconsider and look at how many people have actually picked up their junkies, converted them. There's still plenty of people who have just fractions of junk, who are just still holding on to it and whatnot.
I'm not saying nothing, damn it. I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah.
I've only got a little bit of junk left. So how does this equate regarding loot boxes as well? Is that the same kind of scenario?
Yeah, it'll probably be the same kind of concept, at least for the free claims. We have some plans to do some stuff with loot boxes completely separate from the minting rewards. But like,
right, okay.
Yeah, Marcus, so kind of what I was saying was how you asked about them being connected and whatnot. So we kind of set up the claiming to be by junkie number, because junkie's the base of everything, and it was pretty interesting to set up because it allows us to do like a few different things in terms of like how we did the first I think 3390 people who had minted are going to get an extra loot box. They'll be kind of in that pool for early access testing along with our OGs. I'm pretty sure all our OGs minted within that time as well. So those kind of benefits are cool to have. But yeah, loot boxes will be kind of the same ways. We'll have them open for a while for those free ones. I'm sure we'll do more iterations, once we start doing some gameplay and etc.
I kind of interrupted you when you were talking about the little news bits you want to.
Oh yeah.
To add on.
Yeah. So one was the droids going out. We are working on. Well, like I said, I'll reiterate this again. Raising some funds to expand the team. That's a big one for us. We're putting a lot of time into that, just because we see that being kind of the next step. But expanding the project to a much bigger size than it is now. Aside from that, we are working on kind of pushing out this new website we've been working on for a while. Pretty much ditching the old one entirely. Since we started getting some more of the actual tech onto our side of things, we're going to finish moving everything over. We should be launching merch here shortly as well. That's one of those top priorities. Jake made some really cool designs.
Can't wait to wear this merch.
Yeah, we're gonna have some exclusive stuff, and that'll be fun. Other than that, the only real teaser that we'll only share to you guys is probably some stuff we're planning on doing with possibly the OG Junkies collection, which will be cool, and we're excited to share some stuff about that with y'all.
And the XRP merch.
Yeah.
We're all launching some merch right now. I'm excited. I need to pick up some XRP Club merch though.
Of course you do. But
even
me and Mark, even me and MD haven't got any merch. I mean, how bad's that?
Yeah, I just shipped some of our merch over to my house to test and see if it's if it's quality enough. So, I mean,
we
if it
don't
is, then we
care.
can pull the trigger.
So if we don't care what the quality is.
You just want
Thank
the
you to
design.
Alphinius, who actually did buy some of our merch, and he's going to shell it. Thank you, Alphinius.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, because he supports us, and obviously we'll get your merch as well. So.
Oh
Sweet,
yeah,
We'll
excited for that.
and do a podcast all with our cameras on and show
Yeah,
the merch.
let's get on there, show the merch.
Oh yeah,
and obviously Twitch space for pokers.
Yeah, poker.
Poker.
Anything
else,
today? Anything else?
Oh, buddy, I could talk for hours and listen to them for hours. It's awesome.
No, I think those are most of our updates right now.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks for being here.
It means a lot.
Thank y'all. It's always a pleasure.
To the moon.